If you're thinking about moving to Toronto, I need you to hear this before you do anything else. Because the number one mistake people make is they show up here without knowing what things actually cost. I'm a Toronto real estate agent. I've been doing this for over 9 years. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly to the dollar what it costs to live in this city in 2026. New videos every week. Let's get into it. All right, housing. This is going to eat up somewhere between 40 and 60% of your take-home income, and how much you pay depends entirely on where you live. Here's what a one-bedroom apartment costs right now across the GTA. For downtown Toronto, places like the Financial District, Entertainment District, City Place, it's about $2,350 to $2,400 a month for a one-bedroom. If you're looking at Midtown, Yonge and Davisville, Yonge and Eglinton, Yonge and St. Clair, $2,200. And East Toronto, like Leslieville, Riverside, or the Beaches, it's about $2,100. If you're in the West End, High Park, Junction, Roncy, it's about $2,150. So here's where things get kind of interesting. Outside the core, the numbers do shift as you would expect. North York, you're looking at $2,050, Scarborough down to $1,900, and that's essentially flat year over year, making it the most affordable district in the city. If you're willing to go even further, say Brampton for a one bed, that's $1,850, Hamilton $1,750, and the cheapest one bedrooms right now in the entire GTA are in Oshawa at around $1,660 a month. But here's the catch. If you're moving to Oshawa to save $700 a month on rent, you're adding a GO Transit commute that costs about $400 a month, so your real savings are down to about $300. You need to do the math before you sign a lease just to try and save on that rent money. I had a client last year, a couple moving from Edmonton, and they were fixated on Oshawa because the rent looked so much cheaper on paper. We sat down, added up the commute, all the transit costs, the time, and they actually ended up in Scarborough instead. They saved almost the same amount of money, but they cut their commute in half. So sometimes just the cheap option for cheap's sake is not the best decision if you factor everything else in. Now, one thing to consider is if you're already in a rent-controlled unit, your landlord can only raise your rent 2.5% this year. So these average rents we're talking about are just the asking rents on new units. So existing tenants often pay significantly less. That's why people stay in units for so long. If you're looking at a two-bedroom, you need to add about $500 to $800 to these numbers. Downtown Toronto, it's about $3,000 for a two-bedroom unit, anywhere from $3,000 to $3,500. By the way, if you're trying to figure out which neighborhood actually makes sense for your budget, that's what I do every day. I help people relocate to Toronto every single week. So drop a comment below with where you're moving from and what your budget looks like. I'll point you in the right direction. Or just text me directly. My number is right here on screen and in the description below. Now let's talk about buying, because this is where Toronto gets real. The average detached house in the city right now is about 1.6 million. Semis are sitting at 1.25, with townhomes around 950. For a condo is about 750,000. So that's fine for total costs, but what about the monthly payments? Well, let's say you bought a $900,000 townhome, decent 3-bedroom. You put 20% down at today's best 5-year fixed rate of 4%. Your monthly mortgage payment would be $3,800 before property tax, before condo fees, before insurance. But most first-time buyers don't have $180,000 in cash for 20% down. If you put less than 20% down, you need CMHC mortgage insurance, and your monthly payment would jump to $4,700. I'll say that again, $4,700 a month, just the mortgage on a $900,000 home. I just helped a first-time buyer close on a 2-bedroom in Leslieville. Great place, they love it, but the thing that almost killed the deal wasn't the mortgage, it was the land transfer tax. It nearly wiped out their closing fund. Here's why. Toronto is the only city in Canada where you pay 2 land transfer taxes. You pay the provincial land transfer tax and the municipal tax. So if you're buying $1 million home in Mississauga, that's $16,000 in tax. Buy the exact same home 1 block east in the city of Toronto, $33,000, double for crossing the street. First-time buyers do get a rebate of up to $8,500 combined, but on $1 million purchase, you'd still be paying close to $25,000 just in tax. Quick quiz, how well do you know your Toronto prices? How much does the average Toronto driver pay for car insurance per year? Is it A, $1,500, B, $2,100, C, $2,950, or D, $3,800? Drop your guess in the comments. I want to see how many people get this right. Answers coming in a minute. Now, feeding yourself, necessary. A single person, you budget $400 to $500 a month. A couple, $700 to $900. Family of 4, Dalhousie recently had a university price report for 2026, says up to $18,000 and about $1,500 a month. And food prices are projected to rise another 4 to 6% this year. Some specific prices so you know what you're walking into. A 4-liter bag of milk at No Frills, $5. A dozen eggs, about $4.50. 2 pounds of chicken breasts, this is where it hurts, $16 to $20 depending on the store. And a 2-4 from the beer store to help you deal with all these costs, about $50. If you thought that was expensive, just wait for this next part. Dining out is where Toronto gets expensive fast. When my wife and I go out to eat, we're hard pressed to spend less than $100. Remember one time we ordered a pizza, a salad, and 2 drinks, and the bill was over $100, and we barely felt like we ate anything, so just keep that in mind. For my international viewers, this is important. Tipping in Canada is not optional. 15 to 20% is expected at restaurants, taxis, barbers, food delivery. A $60 bill is actually closer to $70 or $72, so add that to your budget. Coffee prices, you're looking at about $2 for Tim Hortons, Starbucks $5 to $6, but there's lots of great local spots. Our coffee shop across the street is only about $2.50 for a drip coffee, and it's honestly one of our favorite places to go in the whole city. We go there at least once a week with our mini golden doodle, Rosie. All right, the car insurance quiz answer. The answer is C, $29.52 a year, $246 a month. Toronto has the highest car insurance rates in Canada, and they went up another 4% in 2025. I have clients relocating from Calgary all the time. They're used to paying $110 a month. When they see their Toronto quote come back at $250, $280, that's the moment when they genuinely reconsider whether they need a car here. And honestly, a lot of them don't. Total cost of owning a car in Toronto with insurance, gas at $1.40 a liter, parking, maintenance, it's about $13.70 a month. That's more than rent in Hamilton. Can you live without one though? Downtown Toronto, absolutely. You get the TTC monthly pass, about $150. Frozen at that price for 3 years. And for 2026, they cap your rides at $47 per month. If you do more than that, all the ones after that are free. How about suburbs to downtown? GO Transit's $220 to $430 a month, depending on the distance. But Ontario's One Fare program lets you transfer between GO and local transit for free, which saves a lot. My honest recommendation, if you're anywhere along the subway line, skip the car. Put that $13.70 a month towards rent and live in a better neighborhood. If you're finding this useful and you want more videos like this, I'm covering Toronto neighborhoods, the housing market, the honest pros and cons, new video every week. Hit subscribe so you don't miss any of those. And if you got questions about anything I've covered so far, which neighborhood, whether to rent or buy, whether you even need a car, drop a comment or text me. I answer every single one. My number's in the description and I'll put it on screen here as well. True or false? A family doctor visit in Toronto costs around $50. False. Doctor visits are completely free under OHIP, Ontario's public health insurance. Most newcomers don't realize doctor visits, specialist appointments, hospital stays, emergency room, all free under OHIP. But dental is not covered. Cleanings can be $150 to $300 just for one cleaning, and if you need additional dental services, they can be really expensive. Vision's also not covered. Eye exams are about $100 to $200 depending on which clinic you visit. And if you're just arriving in Ontario, there's a 3-month waiting period before your OHIP kicks in. So you need private insurance. You should budget about $100 to $200 a month for that. Don't skip it. One ER visit without insurance could cost thousands. If you have kids or you're planning to, and this one's personal for me, I've got a baby coming on the way soon. Childcare used to be devastating. $2,000 to $2,500 a month for an infant spot. But the federal $10 a day program has changed things drastically. Right now, participating daycare centers charge about $22 a day for infant and toddler care, $18 a day for preschool. That's roughly $480 a month per child instead of $2,000. We're not quite at $10 a day yet, but way more affordable than just a couple years ago. Now, taxes, not the exciting part, obviously, but the part that determines whether you can actually afford everything I just talked about. Let's say you make $100K a year in Toronto. Sounds like a great salary, right? But your actual take home after your federal, provincial tax, your CPP, your EI, just $6,300 a month. If you make $75K, you get about $4,800 a month at net, and $50K, you net about $3,300. Quick, what's the sales tax rate in Ontario? Is it 5%, 8%, 10%, or 13%? The answer is 13%. That's the Harmonized Sales Tax, or HST. If you're coming from Alberta at 5%, or many US states at 0 to 7%, prepare yourself. A $100 purchase here is actually $113. Let's put it all together. 3 real budgets, 3 lifestyles, not best case, not worst case, realistic. Scenario 1, single young professional. They live in a 1-bedroom in East York, $2,100 a month for rent, TTC is $156, groceries $450, dining out a couple times a week, $300, utilities, internet, phone, about $235, gym, $65, streaming, $40, renter's insurance, $25, clothing and personal, $100, total essentials, about $3,500 a month, leaves you roughly $1,000 for savings and everything else. That requires a gross salary of about $68,000 to $72,000. Scenario 2, a couple in a 2-bedroom midtown apartment. They have a car, the rent's $2,900, insurance, gas, parking, almost $600, groceries $800, dining, entertainment, 2 gym memberships, 2 phones, combined monthly spend about $5,500. And the combined household income needed for that would be about $115,000 to $125,000. Scenario 3, a family of 4 in a 3-bedroom townhouse in Scarborough, $3,000 a month for rent, 2 kids in subsidized daycare, $968 combined, 2 cars, roughly $900, groceries for a family, $1,500, monthly spend about $7,900, combined income needed $170,000 to $185,000. And that's for renting a place, not owning. Now, I know that's a lot of numbers, so I put together a free 1-page cheat sheet with every single number from this video, rent by neighborhood, grocery prices, take-home pay at every salary level, all 3 budget scenarios, 1 page, print it out, put it on your fridge while you plan your move, links in the description. It's completely free. And if you're looking at those budget numbers and thinking, okay, this is real, I need to figure out what neighborhood works for me, well, that's literally my job. I help people work through this every week. Text me, call me, or book a free consultation in the description. I'm happy to chat and help you figure out what makes the most sense for you. Another true or false. Toronto is more expensive than New York City. False. Toronto is roughly 33% cheaper than New York overall. This is the part that's going to save you the most money. The costs that blindside people. 1. The double land transfer tax. I already covered it, but it bears repeating. Unique to Toronto, nowhere else in Canada. Lucky us. Number 2, condo maintenance fees. They average about 85 cents per square foot, and on a 750 square foot condo, that would be about $650 a month on top of your mortgage, on top of property tax, and some buildings can even get to over $1 a square foot. 3, the OHIP 3-month gap. You arrive here excited about free healthcare, find out you wait 3 months with no coverage. Get private insurance, seriously. 4, cell phone plans. Canada has some of the most expensive mobile data in the world. Coming from the UK, where you paid the equivalent of $10, or India, even less, budget about $40 to $50 a month, and some people pay up to $100 a month for Rogers, Bell, or Telus. 5, parking tickets. Toronto issues roughly $3 million a year. Standard fines gone up to about $75. You will get one. It's a rite of passage. I've gotten, I can't even count how many at this point. Number 6, pets. A dog in Toronto costs an average of $400 a month for food, vet insurance, a dog walker. If you're coming with a pet, add it now, but so worth it. What would we do without them? So, is Toronto worth it? Well, that depends entirely on you. But now at least you have every number you need to make that decision, honestly. If you're seriously thinking about making a move, whether you're buying, renting, or just trying to figure out where to start, I genuinely want to help. This is what I do. I've helped hundreds of people relocate here over 9 years, and I'm not going to pressure you into anything. Just honest answers from someone who knows this market inside and out. My number's in the description. My Calendly link is there too if you want to book a free call. And there's also that free cheat sheet you can grab with all those different numbers and information on it. I'm Jordan. Welcome to Living in Toronto. I'll see you in the next one.